Hello, I'm going to discuss with you Chapter 17, the formalities of a sale. Our learning objectives are going to be the first one, list the requirements of the statute of frauds for sales, explain the exceptions to it. Define an auction sale and describe its peculiarities compared to the law of sales. Describe the nature of the writing required by the statute of frauds. We're talking about multiple purchases and the statute of frauds. Frequently, one makes several purchases from the same seller on the same day. The question may then be raised whether there is one sale or several sales. If one contract to purchase 5 items from the same seller in one day, and each item having a sale price of less than $500, but combined the sale exceeds $500, must this contract meet the requirement of the statute of frauds? If several items are part of the same sale transaction, it is one sale and must meet the requirement of the statute. If all the contracts to purchase are made during the same shopping tour and with the same salesperson, who merely adds up the different items on the charges to the customer's grand total, the several items are considered to be part of the same transaction. When proof of oral is permitted, in some instances, the absence of writing does not bar the proof of sales contract for $500 or more. Receipt and acceptance of goods. With receipts, an oral sales contract may be enforced if it can be shown that the goods were delivered by the seller and were received and accepted by the buyer. Both the receipt and the acceptance by the buyer must be shown. That shows receipt is taking possession of the goods. In terms of acceptance, it's asking of the buyer to become the owner of specific goods. Now, the contract may be enforced only as it relates to the goods received and accepted. In terms of payments, an oral contract may be enforced if the buyer has made full payment on the contract. In the case of a part payment, a contract may be enforced only with respect to goods for which payment has been made and accepted. In terms of judicial admission, when a person voluntarily acknowledges a fact during the course of some legal proceedings, this is the judicial admission. No writing is required. No writing is required when against whom enforcement of the contract is sought voluntarily admits in the course of legal proceedings to having made the contract. In terms of non-resellable goods, goods that are specifically made for the buyer and are of such an unusual nature that they are not suitable for sale in the ordinary course of the seller's business are called non-resellable goods. No writing is required in such cases. For this exception to apply, however, the seller must have made a substantial beginning in manufacturing the goods, or if a middleman in procuring them before receiving notice of rejection by the buyer. When we're talking about auction sales, now an auction is a sale in which a seller or an agent of the seller orally asks for bids on goods and orally accepts the highest bid. A sale by auction for any amount is valid even though it is by necessity oral. In most cases, the auctioneer is the special agent for both the owner and the bidder. The bidder is the one who makes the offer. There is no contract until the auctioneer accepts the offer, which may be done in several ways. The most common way is the fall of the hammer, with the auctioneer saying sold or sold to a certain person. Nature of writing requirements. Speaking of nature requirements, the UCC does not have stringent requirements that indicate what in a written contract or other writing is adequate to satisfy the statute of frauds for sales contracts. Requirements of writings are signature and terms. Regarding signatures, when a suit is brought against an individual or on the basis of a transaction, the terms of which must be in writing. Either the person being sued or an authorized agent of that person must have signed the writing. The signature must be placed on the writing with the intention of authenticating the writing or indicating an intent to form a contract. In regards to terms, the writing need only give assurance that a transaction existed. Specifically, it must indicate that a sale or a contract to sell has been made and state the quantity of goods involved. We're talking about time of execution. To satisfy the statute of frauds, a writing may be made at or any time after the making of a sale. It may even be made after the contract has been broken or a suit brought on it. The central element of this is the existence, at the time that the trial is held, of written proof of the transaction. Particular writings. The writing that satisfies statute frauds may be a single writing or it may be several writings considered as a group. Formal contracts, bills of sale, letters, and telegrams are common forms of writing that satisfy the statute of frauds. Now, purchase orders, cash register receipts, sales tickets, invoices, and similar papers generally do not satisfy the requirements as to a signature, and sometimes they do not specify any quantity or commodity. That's the end of chapter 17. Thank you.